Hey everybody, my name is Deja and welcome back to my channel. Today I am starting a 48-hour readathon vlog. Top 2 tiers on Patreon get a quarterly 24-hour readathon with me, of course, and since this quarter, specifically this week-ish, I just got back from school. I don't have that much going on. I haven't started summer classes. I haven't started my summer job yet. So I thought we could make it into a 48-hour readathon, and my patrons that are participating agreed that they would really like a 48-hour edition of this. So I was happy to oblige, and so we are doing a 48-hour readathon. It is Friday night. This readathon is going from 7 p.m. Friday, May 12th to 7 p.m. Sunday, May 14th. I had to do the math. So it is a 48-hour readathon, and I thought that I would just vlog it because I have nothing else going on. I am in the middle of another reading vlog, so I'm not putting any of those books on this, and I'm just kind of take a pause. And so yeah, I'm really excited to be able to do this reading vlog, and this will probably come out towards the beginning of next month, end of this month instead, but I'm really excited for it regardless, and I hope that y'all are too. So I'm gonna go over my TBR. It is around 7:30, so I just finished up an audiobook and a novella that I had outstanding. So now I'm going to be getting into the actual books on my TBR. So I have 4 main books and 2 that I call my side quests. So I'm going to start off with the first 2, and these 4 main books, 3 of them are very much giving Hailey Hughes, my queen, my bestie. Love her. And so 3 of them are really giving her, and one of them she literally couldn't have even read yet, so maybe it's her as well. Maybe I'm a psychic and I'm foretelling the future, okay? But I'm gonna start off with 2 to tell y'all. So I have You've Lost a Lot of Blood and Everything the Darkness Eats. This is an arc of a book that comes out in June by Eric LaRocca, my king, okay? I love Eric. I literally have a whole dedicated Eric section on my bookshelf. My books are falling because I literally love Eric so much. He's probably sick of me, like, because I literally tag them in every single thing because I'm like, Eric, notice me, Eric, notice me. And Eric sent me this arc. I mean, I kind of asked for it. I just asked about the e-arc on NetGalley, and he offered to send me a copy, and I'm so gracious and thankful. So of course I'm going to put it in a vlog and talk about it, but I'm also going to be doing a guide to Eric LaRocca, which is why I'm going to be rereading this book. But first, this one, I don't really know what it's about besides that it's about a small town that has had a recent string of unexplained disappearances. So yeah, I'm really excited for that one. And honestly, there's no audio for that book. Audiobooks are very important to me. I'm a very auditory learner, and my eyes get very tired very fast, and with my ADHD, which we're trying to get medicated, girlies. We're trying, but we're not there yet. Give me a couple more months, and then maybe I'll actually be able to, you know, really get into it. But right now, the audiobooks, they be saving me. Plus, ebooks lately. Ebooks have been really doing a lot for me. But You've Lost a Lot of Blood is actually one that I've already read, and I'm just rereading it because this is the only one of Eric's books that I've given 4 stars, and I feel like a lot of people that I know like really love this one, and I want to love it too. So I feel like I'm missing something, and I just want to reread it. And plus there is an audiobook for this book, and things have gotten worse since we last spoke now, and I know that they're on Scribd, and Scribd finally, after years of me begging on my hands and knees, basically, they have finally put 3 times speed back on iPhone. The bare minimum. Thank you, Scribd. Okay, anyways, I can listen to this on Scribd, and I haven't listened to any of Eric's audiobooks, so I'm really excited to try it out and see how I click with it, see if maybe the audio will help me digest the story more, and maybe it'll click more with me. And yeah, most of his books I've read super recently, so they're pretty ingrained into my brain, or I've reread them recently. So this is the only one that I feel like I need a refresher on. And then I also have Sour Candy by Keenan Patrick Burke. This is a short 70-page novella. I believe it has to do with a child, and Hailey also loves this one. And somebody sent this to me. Let me thank them. Oh, the note fell out. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Whoever sent this to me, thank you. Love you. Kisses. And then the last one that is my main book is The Girl in 6E. This is a thriller about a cam girl who has every single thing delivered to her house. She never goes outside because she's scared that if she goes outside that she'll kill somebody. So she locks herself up in the house, and one day I think something pushes her to go outside. So this is also one of Hailey's faves, so I'm really excited to try that one out. And then my 2 side quests are kind of to break that up because that's a lot of like thriller horror, so, and which is what I've been reading a lot of this month, which I love, don't get me wrong, but sometimes I'm very much like a genre bouncer, one might call me. I love all genres, and sometimes I can get burnt out on them. I know there are thriller horror girlies that will go hard and read thriller and horror 24/7 all the time, but sometimes, I want a little romance. Sometimes I want a little cry, and some horrors have made me cry, but sometimes I want a little cry. Sometimes I want a little literary fiction. Sometimes I want a little something else. You know what I'm saying? I think I'm primarily a thriller horror girly, but sometimes I just need a little break in there. You know what I'm saying? So I have all my reads by Saba Tahir. This is one that I really, really, really have been dying to read because it kind of gives me a very large expansive sea vibes. I don't know if I'm incorrect on that, but it seems like similar subject matter. But I love Saba Tahir's other series, which is completely different because this is contemporary, and Ember in the Ashes series is definitely fantasy, but I love that series, and me saying I love a fantasy, that's saying a lot, but I love that series, and this one is kind of giving vibes that it's gonna make me cry, so I got this one. And then I also have Praise by Sarah Kate. This is the first book in the Salacious Players Club series. This is not like this is the first one. I really want to read the second one, but I wanted to read this one first. I believe that it is, yeah, it's ex-boyfriend's dad trope in this like strip club or like gentleman's club type thing. So yeah, and I have audiobooks for every single one of them except for Everything the Darkness Eats, of course, because it hasn't come out, and Sour Candy, but this one's super short, so we'll see how far I can make it into this. I would love to read even more than this, but I don't know. Tomorrow I'm going to the pool with some of my friends for one of my friends' birthday. I probably will only go for a couple hours though, and then also on what's it called, Sunday, it's Mother's Day. And also on Sunday, after the readathon ends right at 7, me and my patrons also have a movie watch along for Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. So I'll probably give y'all a little review of that as well. Not a full in-depth review, because if you want that, head over to the Patreon and watch the live show. But I'll give you guys a little snippet of what I thought about it and then wrap up the reading vlog. So yeah, I'm really excited. I may not even like read these. I may get into such a thriller mood I want to read another thriller. I'm very like in a thriller mood, not a horror mood, a thriller mood, which is a little strange for me. I like thrillers, but I don't often get into a thriller mood. And I just read The Last Words by Taylor Adams, so I thought I was going to get out the urge of the need to read a thriller, but it didn't. I'm still in a thriller mood. But I'm not actually going to start with the thriller, The Girl in 6E. I'm going to start with You've Lost a Lot of Blood, because I actually need to work on a thumbnail for a video I'm trying to post tonight. So hopefully I can get it quick. I actually just realized that I did not take a picture for that video, so I have to try and take one and edit the thumbnail. So that'll be fun. Glad that my makeup is on at least. And then I am actually working on a diamond painting because my friend Beth from Beth's All Booked, she did a recent sponsorship with Temu. And she got this horror diamond painting, and I'm a diamond painting lover, an expert one might call me. I haven't done one in a while, but you better bet yourself. I did a big one. That's what I call myself, an expert, 'cause it was huge. It was huge, okay? And so this one's really small. I feel like I can blast through it this weekend, really, with the audiobooks. I'm really excited for it. And so I didn't even know they sold diamond paintings on Temu. So I snatched it up, and I'm working on that. So I'm probably going to finish the audiobook with that. I also like to listen to audiobooks while playing The Sims, playing Animal Crossing, anything like that. Playing GTA on my Switch as well. GTA is my new obsession. I love that game. I love the violence. I can just take out my anger. I don't know what this was, the guns, but my blicky upon my dresser, if you know what that's from. I love you. My family hates that, but they're just gonna have to live. So I've been talking for 10 minutes now, but yeah, so I think I should probably stop. So I don't even have the book. Hold on. I am about 2/3 of the way into this book, and I'm enjoying it. Of course, I love Eric, and Eric's writing is going to do it for me every single time, okay? It's about this writer who's kind of writing this expose, one might call it, on these two writers called Martyr and what's his name? Martyr and Ambrose. And he actually knew Ambrose. And Martyr and Ambrose, specifically Martyr, murder men together. It's very much giving Exquisite Corpse, which I just read, so I can give it that comparison, that those chapters are very much giving Exquisite Corpse. So basically he is kind of writing and adding in little pieces, but most of the book is these recordings that Martyr took and it's basically him and Ambrose conversations, but he's also putting his own thoughts on top of the audio, and also this book that Martyr wrote called You've Lost a Lot of Blood. So it's kind of that all interspliced together. So Martyr and Ambrose, they have this very interesting dynamic relationship. They bring up very interesting conversations and discussions. Martyr's head's very disturbed, and we get this book inside called You've Lost a Lot of Blood, where we follow the sister and her younger brother that are going to this estate for the sister, because she's like an adult, to be a graphic design or like a game developer for this man, because he is in a position where he cannot finish the game himself. And the game itself is also called You've Lost a Lot of Blood. So this is a very meta book. It's called You've Lost a Lot of Blood. The book inside the book is called You've Lost a Lot of Blood, and the game inside the book is called You've Lost a Lot of Blood. And one day her little brother goes missing, and he comes back a little different, a little strange. And this also has like a lot of things to do with like centipedes and those kind of insects. So that is a trigger for you. I would be very careful with this one. That's not that bad to me. Of course, it makes me a little uncomfortable, but it's not like anything, oh my gosh. So I don't know what that was. But if it is for you, if you have a fear of centipedes, this one may not be for you. But it has a lot to do with technology because of this game development, and I'm enjoying it. As I said, Hailey gave me the tip that I need to go into this book thinking, oh, like this is just some fun, pointless thing, and she said just let it click at the end. Just let it click, and I don't have to think too hard about it. So I'm trying not to think that hard about it, but maybe I'm just not a big brain, okay? Maybe Hailey's just the biggest brain and I'm the smallest brain. I don't know, because I feel like that's what I did last time, and it just didn't click the way I needed it to click. But I'm gonna go finish this while working on my diamond painting, because I finished that thumbnail. This is my diamond painting. It says Friends at the top in the Friends font, which is a little corny, but it has Chucky, Jason, Michael, Ghostface, the man from Saw. I'm forgetting his name right now. I love him though. Jigsaw? Whatever. Freddy, It, or Pennywise I should say, and this man, which, is this Leatherface? I can't even tell. I think it's Leatherface. But love, you see how shiny and sparkly? I'm super excited to work more on this, and hopefully. So it is 9:30, and I have finished my first book, You've Lost a Lot of Blood by Eric LaRocca. Oh, that's where that went. My little paste stuff for my diamond painting. And I understand it now. I get it. I got that Eric LaRocca feeling that I get, where a lot of times, especially with like his novellas, not necessarily his short stories, but with his novellas, I get this feeling where I'm like, is this the meaning? Is this the meaning? Is this the meaning? I start going down a rabbit hole spiral where I'm like, I'm on Reddit, I'm on YouTube watching reviews from old white men, like trying to figure out like what the meaning really is. And I get all these different meanings from the story. And the first time I read this, I didn't get that. I got No Thoughts Head Empty. This time I got that. I understand it. I don't know if it was the audio or the reread or the first time. I just wasn't in the right headspace, but I get it, and I have a meaning for this book now. It's only going to get a 4.5 from me, not a full 5 stars, because the storyline with the game is not my favorite. I don't really like the game aspect, but I love the meanings that can come out of this story. I'm just much more interested in Martyr and Ambrose's storyline than the other storyline. I understand this book now, and I feel like I can give an accurate depiction of it in my Guide to Eric LaRocca video, so I'm really happy that I reread this. So first book, 200-ish pages done. Okay, now because I'm really into the diamond painting, I'm actually going to start on the Girl in 6E, and once I get sick of doing this, then I'm going to probably move upstairs and start physically reading one of my physical reads for this readathon. But I thought I would start with this one next, so I'm really excited to get into it, and I might even be able to finish it tonight depending on how much of this diamond painting that I do. So we'll see, but I'm gonna get back to it. Please excuse my Hooters muumuu. It's a literally like 3XL shirt. That's disgusting. That's like my nightgown muumuu. So yeah, we're just gonna have to vibe with it for right now. This is just skincare product, but I'm 2/3 of the way into the Girl in 6E, and I'm actually really enjoying it. At first I was enjoying it, but then I feel like it went on about her daily life a lot, of how she was just a cam girl, and her talking to her therapist and her talking to her clients, and that went on and on and on for a while. So I was starting to get a little bored, but then we get introduced to this other storyline throughout the whole beginning of the book, named of a character named Annie. And I don't really have that much else to say because I feel like it'd be kind of spoilery. Like, I feel like I'm already towing the line between like how much you should know and how much you shouldn't know. But I feel like I'm giving y'all just enough to understand like what I'm talking about without it ruining your experience if you decide to read this. So yeah, I'm really liking it. The writing is pretty average, pretty basic, but I am really liking the characters. I care about our main character, and I care about the little girl. I care about the people that she interacts with on a daily basis. I just think that that beginning portion dragged on, but I see like why the author did that, to really get us into the mindset of this monotony that she's been experiencing for the past couple years, of every day, every week is kind of like the same thing for her over and over and over again. This book is also, I know that she's a cam girl, but I did not expect this book to be as like sexual as it is. Like, it's a very sexually explicit, like, don't give this book to your grandma. Like, it's not just like a little like, it's a very explicit. So if that's not something that you like, I'd be careful when going into this book. I'm really liking it. I can't wait to see how it ends off, because that could definitely change how I feel about this book. And like, I could potentially really end up loving this, or I could just think it's like good, like 4-star. So I'm excited to see how it ends off, and I'm probably gonna finish this tomorrow because it's about 1:30, and I'm gonna probably try and wake up early-ish so I can read a little bit and everything like that before I have to get on with my day. And I don't know which one I'm gonna start in the morning, either Everything the Darkness Eats or what's it called? I'm forgetting, it's right here. Sour Candy. I'm probably gonna go with Sour Candy first, actually, but I will decide in the morning based on my mood. So I have not updated y'all all day. I'm so sorry. I haven't gotten that much reading done yet today, but I did end up finishing Sour Candy a little bit ago. I started this morning, and then I also ended up finishing The Girl in 6E as well on audio. So I'm now 3 books down. We're giving red, we're giving vibes. So I finished Sour Candy first, so we'll talk about this one. This one I have not talked about yet because it was so short. I didn't really want to update y'all. So in this, we follow this man named Phil, and he has this encounter in a grocery store while he is trying to get chocolate candy for his girlfriend or wife. I think it's his wife, with a child who's screaming, and it kind of just evolves from there. There is some more stuff on the back, but I don't really want to say that because I feel like it's better to not know that going in. But if you like creepy children, and you like Stranger Things, and you also like Hereditary, this is the one. This is literally Creepy Children plus Stranger Things plus Hereditary together is kind of the vibes of this book. I really had a good time reading this, and I think it has a lot, I don't know why I did this, but I think it has a lot to say, and I had a good time reading it. I really enjoyed the writing. I love creepy children, and it's kind of psychological. It's very psychological, actually. It's very psychological, and I enjoy that. You don't know what's true, you don't know what's false, you don't even really know what happens, but I like that. And then I also, as I said, finished The Girl in 6E, and I'm also think I'm gonna give this one 5 stars. I can't decide if it's gonna be a 4 or 5 star. I don't think it's gonna be a 4.5. I think it's gonna be a 4 or 5. I feel like this is one of the books where I have to sit on to see if it actually stays with me or not. But I really like this one. Our main girl in this, she goes by multiple names. I really truly cared about her, and there is a relationship dynamic in this, and I was shipping them so hard. I was getting giddy about it, and that's how I really know that I care, is that I'm giddy about a relationship, especially that's not one in a romance. I enjoyed a lot of aspects of this that I feel like I can't really talk about, but I liked what eventually got her out of her apartment. Even though I feel like it was very redundant and slow in the beginning when we were in her apartment, I feel like that was definitely necessary to get us into the same mindset as our main character. It wasn't pointless. It was actually very purposeful, which I can appreciate. And I also really liked the end. I overall just had a great time reading this, and I also had a lot of talk about psychology and trauma, and I thought the trauma and psychological aspects were explored very well. I enjoyed them a lot. So that is definitely multiple thumbs ups for me as a psychology major. My roommates hate when I would say that, is I would be like, as a psychology major, but as a joke. I didn't mean it for real. But I really enjoyed the psychological and trauma aspects of this. I think that it's much deeper than you would originally anticipate. There's a lot of trauma that goes on throughout this book for not just our main character, but our other perspective that we follow, Annie. I think this starts to go into the deeper sides of some really dark things like pedophilia, but it doesn't go too dark, which sometimes is nice. I really enjoy like a dark read. I love a little book that will disturb me or tear my heart out. But this one I feel like is really good for people who don't necessarily like that feeling but still kind of want to get a taste of a thriller that kind of explores those topics. I think that'll be really, really good for somebody if they can handle all the sexual content throughout the story. I feel like it's mostly like in the part where she's in her apartment, which is like the first like, I would say the first half is really like sexually heavy, but after that the second half is definitely not as intense. So if you're in the first half and you're not vibing with the sexual aspects, I would say you continue just to push through because it does die down if that's like the main reason that you want a DNF. So I definitely really enjoyed this one, and yeah, these two were both really good reads for me. And I don't know, I'm going to actually start Everything the Darkness Eats next. I am doing reading sprints in about an hour, so I'm going to be reading that, but I also want to start an audiobook, but I kind of don't want to read Praise or All My Rage, so I have to figure out what I'm going to listen to. I'm going to ask on my sprints if anybody has any recommendations, but we'll see. I'm not like in the mood for either of those. I kind of want to pick up a Karen Slaughter. My girl Karen, love her. I kind of want to pick up the next book in the Grant County series because this kind of gave me like the taste that I wanted, but not as far. So yeah, I definitely think I might pick up a Karen Slaughter. We'll see. I feel like I haven't been doing a ton of reading, even though I have, because I finished those 2 books earlier, and then I am about 65-ish pages into Everything the Darkness Eats by Eric LaRocca, and I'm actually really enjoying this. It is definitely, we follow different perspectives of people within this town, and we are learning slowly about these really weird disappearances that have been going on and how they connect to the town. And also we are learning kind of about the history of the town. There's this family that was one of the first founding families, the Crowley family, and how everything is interconnected together. I thought it was very interesting. This is like the promotional material that it came with, and there is one page that says that Eric will be has selected availability for interviews and byline article commissions, and can speak to a range of topics including the trope of evil lurking in a small New England town, because this takes place in Connecticut, the importance of queer representation in media, moreover the consequences of crafting messy, problematic, and dark queer characters, the horror genre's relationship with religion and holy iconography, and is there such thing as too far when it comes to horror. So I think that says a lot about the themes that are going on in this book. New England town, like messy, problematic, and dark queer characters, the horror genre relationship with religion and holy iconography, and too far when it comes to the horror genre. So I'm really hoping that this pushes the envelope, especially because Eric, even in the about the author section in the promotional material, it says that Eric is a Splatterpunk award-winning author, and Splatterpunk is extreme horror. Technically, they're what I've seen is that they're generally synonyms for each other. Is extreme horror and Splatterpunk are very similar, or at least Splatterpunk is a subcategory of extreme horror. And so yeah, I'm really enjoying this one. I'm hoping to make a decent dent in this. It's been hard for me to kind of sit down and read it because I am not very good at reading physical books right now. I'm much better at reading ebooks and audiobooks at the moment. The book is only about 215-ish pages, so I'm hoping to get to at least minimum page 100 tonight and then wrap it up tomorrow. And then I'm also in the middle of Praise by Sarah Kate. I'm currently using a clean, let me specify clean, tissue as a bookmark right now, because when I was downstairs I didn't have a bookmark, and I'm about 100 pages into this one, and I'm also enjoying this one. So it is about this girl, and she recently has broken up with her boyfriend, and thus they moved out of their apartment and they need to get their deposit back. Now, she was working when they were supposed to meet with the landlord to get the deposit, so it actually got sent to the dad of the ex-boyfriend because he was the co-signer on the apartment. Now, the father and the son, the ex-boyfriend and his father, have had a falling out. So our main character goes to the ex-boyfriend like, hey, I want my deposit, and he was like, well, it went to him and you can go get it from him because I don't feel like interacting with him. So she ends up going, and when she goes, he believes that she's a woman that's being sent to him to basically appeal to his kink, which is the praise kink, and tells her to like get on her knees basically, because he is actually one of the owners of a club called the Salacious Players Club, which is opening throughout this book. It's not open yet so far where I am, but it's in the process of being finalized and opening, which is a club that is appealing to people's kinks, and it's kind of like a sex club. And so yeah, I'm liking it so far, because at first I was like, okay, all this get on her knees, pray stuff, like I don't know if I like that, just because, you know, feminism, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think that you can have a praise kink, but then there's also like, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, but I think that it's being talked about very well throughout this book, and I'm enjoying it a lot. So yeah, I'm excited to continue on with this one, and it's kind of giving me like burlesque vibes, because that's the only real media that I've consumed that has like a club like that in it, that's more like risque. And I just recently rewatched Burlesque. I love Burlesque. I grew up with that movie. So yeah, I'm really liking the vibes of this one, and I can't wait to continue on with both of these and hopefully wrap up both of them tomorrow, which would make books 4 and 5. But if I do somehow end up finishing both of those, then I'll be reading Kiss Cut by Karen Slaughter, which is the second book in the Grant County series. I've been in a mood for Karen Slaughter. I know I said I was going to pick this up earlier, but someone on my reading sprints was reading Praise, and people were telling me that this book was pretty decent and it was a fun time, so I decided to pick it up on the sprints. But yes, this book is heavy, but I do have this checked out, so I will be reading this soon regardless, but you may not see it in this reading vlog, just you might see it in my wrap up. That's all that I really have to update you on. I will definitely be updating y'all probably tomorrow morning, because I plan on reading a bit more before I go to sleep, but I like want to put on my headscarf and everything, and I don't really want to update y'all with my headscarf on right now. So I wanted to update y'all before I put that on and like really like get into bed. So yeah, I will talk to y'all in the morning. Hi, so I'm back, and it is actually technically past when the readathon was supposed to end, but I'm going to be extending mine to my technical 48 hours. I normally don't sleep during these type of readathons, and this time I've actually slept way more than I normally do. I've been taking way more naps and everything like that, because I actually have started a new medication for a recent mental health diagnosis, and it makes me extremely exhausted. So I feel like I kind of get a break and I can extend the readathon. So I'm going to discount my sleeping, not my naps, but my sleep. So that means that over the course of the past couple days I've gotten about 16 hours of sleep, so I'm going to extend my readathon by 16 hours. So I'm probably going to go to sleep around 2 tonight, which is 7 hours, and so that means that tomorrow once I wake up I will have, oh god, I will have 9 hours. So if I wake up at 10, the readathon will end at 7. So yeah, that's what I'm hoping, because I really would want to finish this book during the reading vlog. I really do want to give y'all kind of my thoughts on the book. I'm actually just started part 3. It's called If We Were Made of Honey, which I love that title. And I'm liking the book so far, but I don't know if this has the potential to be a 5-star, just because this part so far hasn't been very horror-y. It's been pretty slow. It's been all kind of build up for the past 130 pages, but I am really liking it, and we're now getting to like the horror part of it and having to deal with religion, and we are just now starting to get to that. And as I said, we have multiple perspectives, but I feel like we have like 2 main perspectives that we follow and 2 main characters. And so one of them has recently gotten into a situation that I can't really talk about, but is starting to learn about the disappearances. We figure out very quickly why these people in this town are disappearing, but not really for why, like what the reason why is. We find out who and how, but not why. So the main character and ourselves is starting to learn why these people are disappearing and what connection this has to religion. So I'm excited to continue on with this. With Praise, I'm about the same place that I was before, so I don't have much to say on it, but I wanted to come tell y'all that I'm extending the readathon because I've been so tired and exhausted. Sleeping 16 hours during this readathon is very just unlike me. During these readathons, I'd probably sleep maybe like 12 hours total, but on top of that 16 hours, I've probably taken at least 5 hours of nap. That's literally been like an extra like 9 hours of sleep for this readathon that I don't normally get because of this medication. Oh my gosh, it's making me so tired. So yeah, I'm going to try and continue on a little bit tonight, but I'm really exhausted, so we'll see how far I get. At least listen to the Praise audiobook, but I don't have that much of this left. I have 100 pages. That was kind of my goal, is to get to at least 150 tonight and do my audiobook, because tomorrow I do have work and my boss is calling out sick, so I will probably have more work than usual. But yeah, so I will come back and talk to y'all when I probably either make it probably like 2/3 of the way into Praise, or when I finish Everything the Darkness Eats. So this is the last clip for my 48-hour readathon. I actually ended up finishing Praise earlier today and Everything the Darkness Eats as well, but I actually kind of needed to sit on my ratings a little bit, and I am going to review because my ratings always change throughout the course of my reading vlogs. The end is always where I wrap up like what my final rating is. So starting with Praise, I'm actually going to be giving this one 5 stars. I absolutely adored this book. I don't know if I ever described it, but in this we follow our main character, and she has recently broken up with her boyfriend, or they have recently broken up, and I think he like cheated on her, so they obviously left their apartment, and the deposit got sent to the ex-boyfriend's dad, so she has to go back. And when she goes, he is actually the owner of a sex club, and when she comes in, thinks that she's there for a certain type of thing that she's not there for, but she's kind of into it. And this one, I originally didn't really like it because I thought it was going to be a certain type of book where I was like, he's just really dominating. I don't really like that. But I actually talked about like what you like in relation to like your beliefs, and how just because you believe something doesn't mean that you don't like something in a sexual sort of way. That's different. And I really thought that the discussions around that were very well done, and it was just super fun and good, and I just enjoyed the discussions. I enjoyed this a lot more than I thought I would. And it was taboo because it's ex-boyfriend's dad, but the age gap part of it really wasn't that big of a deal, which I enjoyed because age gap has started to creep me out a little bit now. I don't know why. When I was like maybe like 3 years ago, it didn't really bother me. Now age gap can be a little like on the fence for me for sure, so I really didn't mind the age gap in this one. Overall, giving this one 5 stars. And then this is why I really waited to update y'all, is because Everything the Darkness Eats, I'm giving 3.5 stars. I know is really hard to reconcile with, because the lowest I ever gave Eric LaRocca's 4, and then I reread it and bumped it up to 4.5 in this reading vlog. So giving this 3.5 really hurts my heart. So I'm going to quickly talk about the things I didn't like and then talk about the things I did like. This book, I don't want to say that, but it was boring for a good portion of it. I feel like the pacing of this book was off, and I think that is because Eric LaRocca has written similar length books before. Like You've Lost a Lot of Blood is a similar length book, at least pages wise. Probably words wise it's probably shorter, but I feel like Eric LaRocca was trying to fit this story into a traditional novel mold, and Eric LaRocca doesn't write in a traditional novel mold, and I think that's really what set the pacing off and made it very odd and slow and boring. In this, we follow 2 different main perspectives. One of them is this man named Ghost, and this other one is this other man named Malik. And Malik and his husband recently moved into Henley's Edge, which is this town, and they are a gay couple dealing with what it's like to live in a small town. Our other main character, Ghost, he is a disabled man, and he is actually pretty young, and he is dealing with the loss and grief of some of his family members. And there are also disappearances going on in this town, and I feel like it definitely picks up pace at the end. I really enjoyed the ending and the converging of these 2 stories, but I do think that the convergence could have been more seamless. It feels kind of like 2 very separate stories that just happen to have an ending that's together rather than like one cohesive story. I think that is another thing, that this story could have been more cohesive. Now, I really enjoyed the prose, but I think that people who don't traditionally like Eric LaRocca's prose will also enjoy this book. It's a little bit less pretentious. That's the word that I've heard surrounding his writing, is pretentious. And I feel like the writing in this, while it still sounds like Eric LaRocca, it's not as pretentious as some of his other writing can come across, I should say. So I really enjoyed the writing, but besides the writing, I honestly would not have known this book was written by Eric LaRocca. That, and obviously like the queer characters and a lot of these queer themes. Besides those 2 things, I would not have known the story is written by Eric LaRocca. It feels very different from his other work, which if you don't like his work traditionally, you may actually really enjoy this. I don't know. This book hasn't come out yet, so I can't really like compare, but I think that if you don't traditionally like his work, you may enjoy this one. I know that I've been known to like slow horror before, but something about this one just disengaged me. I probably like really started to lock in around this point. Probably around page 150 is when I really started to get into it, but the first 150 pages was just a bit slow and dragging for me, and it wasn't keeping my attention. Even if a story's slow, a lot of times it can keep my attention. But I did really like the characters in this, and I like their stories. So it gets points for writing, points for the characters. I really, really loved the characters, and I was super attached to them. And I just really, really loved their stories, not necessarily the story as a whole, but I loved their stories, if that makes sense. Individually, I like their stories, and I thought that they had great character development, and without it being too overly descriptive, if that makes sense. Like, obviously Eric LaRocca has descriptive writing, but it didn't really feel like he was trying to characterize them. They just happened to have good characterization. And it also gets points for themes. I really love this exploration of the horrors of people, and I think it was done very well with there was a kind of more of like a supernatural perspective or plot line, and then one plot line that's very real and realistic and hard to read about. And I think merging those two was a very interesting dynamic that I haven't read before, and I really, really enjoyed that merger of these two different entities. This one is also less like extreme, I would say, than his other books, which I don't want to say his other books are extreme, but they're definitely like, they can be grotesque, they can be disgusting, they can be gross, and this one definitely does have some gross things that occur in it, but most of it happens off page. And in his other books, there's like creepy crawlies, there's a lot of like violence that goes on, and this book does have some violence in it. I will say that triggers for homophobia and hate crimes, violence, all of that, but again, it happens mostly off page, and that's something that a lot of people don't like about Eric LaRocca, is these very horrific things that he writes about. And while this does have horrific subject matter, it's not done with the same grittiness as his other work, I feel. Maybe if I went into this with a completely different author, maybe I would have loved it. I don't know, but this is just not what I was expecting from Eric LaRocca, if that makes sense. And so it just wasn't Eric LaRocca to me, but I still really enjoyed the themes and the end a lot, in the characters. Those were really the strong points for me, and so I can't give this anything less than like a 3-star, but I'm bumping it up to 3.5, rounded down to a 3 on Goodreads though, because I still had a good time, and it's definitely above average for me, but it wasn't anything blow my socks out the water, unfortunately. I'm really sad about it. So those are my last 2 books, and I've also read You've Lost a Lot of Blood in this reading vlog, which I bumped up from a 4 to a 4.5. This was a reread for me. And then I also read Sour Candy, which I think I'm going to sit at a 4-star actually. And then The Girl in 6E is somewhere between a 4 and a 4.5. I definitely enjoyed this one more than I liked this one, but I definitely would recommend both. I really enjoy both of them. So this one is like a 4 to a 4.5 for me. I probably will bump it up to a 4.5. So this is what I read in my 48 hours minus sleeping. So as I said, I have a 4.5, a 4, another 4.5, a 3.5, and a 5-star. So not a bad rating stack overall, and I had a great time filming this. I had a great time with my patrons, and I don't know if I ever gave y'all a review on Bodies, 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 but I love that movie. I gave it 5 stars. It's up there with one of my favorite movies I've seen so far this year, probably that and Scream 6. I loved both those movies a lot, and I thought it was really campy and fun, and it just had so much commentary on Gen Z, my generation, and it made me very self-aware and self-reflect, which I enjoyed. I think it really took the horror genre and put its own twist and spin on it, which I thought was done very, very well. So that's all I have for this video today. I hope that y'all enjoyed. If you made it to the end, leave a little blood drop emoji for You've Lost a Lot of Blood, and I will see y'all in my next one. Bye, everybody.